When I was sorting through my brother's belongings, I found his diary. The last page said, "Next life, I don't want to be Tony's brother." I froze. My brother really did hate me, even in death. If I hadn't insisted on marrying Ryan, bringing disaster upon us, our family wouldn't have gone bankrupt, and my brother wouldn't have gone to prison. Suddenly, pop-up comments appeared on the diary. "You don't actually think not wanting to be your brother means he hates you, do you?" Flip back a few pages. I flipped to an entry from when my brother was in college. It said, "Loving your own sister makes you a monster." Tears instantly welled up in my eyes. The pop-up comments appeared again. "We've hit 1,000 likes. We can send you back to your college days. Go back now. Your brother's about to crash." I ran right into Ryan, who had just gotten back. A comment floated by, "When you get back to college, don't forget to teach this scumbag a lesson." Ryan, who had just come home reeking of alcohol, grabbed me with a sneer. "I heard Alex died. I came back just to see how pathetic you look." He squinted at me. But he didn't find the expression he was hoping for on my face. He frowned. "Where are you going? What are you hiding?" I wiped my tears and said coldly, "To find my brother." Ryan paused, his grip loosening slightly. I seized the chance and shoved him away, following the pop-up comments instructions. I arrived at a racetrack. I knew this place. It was where my brother had street raced in college and eventually crashed. I waited for a long time under the scorching sun. The sun beat down until everything went dark, and I collapsed. When I opened my eyes again, a familiar figure walked by. Tears streamed down my face uncontrollably. I stumbled forward, calling out to his back. "Bro. Is it really you? Turn around and look at me." I had actually been reborn, back in college. Alex's back was to me, his voice flat. "What? Are you here to settle scores with me because of Ryan again?" I froze. In our 4 years of college, Alex and I had fought countless times over Ryan. I'd even smashed Alex's computer for Ryan, ruining the model he'd built for a national competition. It was no wonder he didn't trust me. "No. I'm here for you. Bro, I'm sorry. I'm the one who ruined you. I won't like Ryan anymore. I'll listen to you, bro, and stop chasing after him." Alex's back stiffened. "Tony, what kind of act are you pulling now?" His words sounded sarcastic. But if you listened closely, you could hear a faint, almost imperceptible tremor. A pop-up comment reminded me, "Be a little sweet. Your brother's actually thrilled to hear you've seen the light." "Bro, I came to get dinner with you." He finally turned around. But he froze. "What's with you? You're dressed so strangely. Not like a college student." I grabbed Alex's sleeve. "Bro, I want to go to that diner near our old high school. After we eat, can you help me pick out some new clothes, please?" Alex's lips pressed into a thin line as he coldly pulled his hand away. "Trying to drug my food again so I end up in the hospital?" I froze. So, besides smashing Alex's computer, I'd done even worse things to him. "Bro, I didn't." "Didn't what? Are you trying to send Alex to the hospital again?" Before I could finish, someone interrupted. Selena walked over and slapped my hand away. "This is between me and my brother. It's none of your business. I'm Alex's girlfriend, how is it none of my business? You, on the other hand, are just the family's adopted daughter, always fighting with Alex. Alex might not hold it against you, but I won't put up with it." A pop-up comment flashed. "What's this evil sidekick so smug about? The male lead only lets her hang around because she took care of him when he was hospitalized and he feels bad telling her to leave. And she calls herself his girlfriend? That's what the female lead misunderstood before. She thought both her brother and Ryan liked Selena, and that her brother hated her." Alex's gaze was heavy. His eyes fell on my reddened hand. In the end, he didn't say a word. In the silence, the roar of an engine approached. A guy with white dyed hair walked over, with a woman on each arm. Well, looks like Alex brought two today, huh? You should have done this ages ago. Hang out with us more. The heir to the family fortune, always messing with those competition models, acting like some model student. Chasing after an adopted girl who doesn't even give you the time of day, what's the point? Alex snapped, shut up. Don't talk nonsense in front of my sister. The white-haired guy looked at me. So this is the sister, huh? Alex, you've got skills. Conquered her pretty fast. What's that saying? Bad boys get the girls. I told you to shut up. Alex's fingers, hanging by his side, curled slightly, his knuckles turning white. The white-haired guy spread his hands, laughing dismissively. All right, no more talk. Are we racing or not? Alex's expression softened slightly. Of course, we race. Usual rules. It suddenly dawned on me. This wasn't Alex's first street race. After I'd sabotaged his competition projects multiple times, he had transformed from that gentle, top student into a school-skipping bad boy. No race. I pulled Alex's hand down. Bro, I'm still starving. That diner is closing down soon. Let's go one last time. Alex gave a sad smile. A week ago, you also tricked me into having dinner with you, and I ended up in the hospital getting my stomach pumped, missing the debate finals. Tony, I'm not falling for it again. Alex left me. He walked towards a flashy red supercar with Selena. Halfway there, he suddenly stopped, turned around, and said, "This isn't a place for you. Go back to school." I called out to him. Alex, what if I don't go? This time, he didn't turn back. He just waved a hand dismissively, his back to me. Suit yourself. A pop-up comment flashed. If the person you liked kept hurting you, anyone would get depressed. That's how he picked up street racing. But this time, after the race, he hit someone, crippled them, spent half a month in jail, and his parents completely gave up on him. And then the female lead showed up with Ryan to seize power. It makes me so mad. Seeing Alex had already started the car, I rushed onto the track and stood in front of Alex's car. A screech of brakes. The red supercar screeched to a halt, just a fraction of an inch from my knees. The heat seared my knees. Alex threw open the car door. The corners of his eyes were red, his eyes looking like they could bleed. He strode towards me, furious. What are you doing? What if I hadn't been able to stop in time? My legs gave out, and I stumbled forward. Alex instinctively caught me. Bro. If my dying would make you forgive me, then I wish I were the one to die. I don't want, years from now, to see our family bankrupt and you commit suicide in prison. Alex was confused. Tony, what game are you playing now? I pushed him away and walked to the car. I opened the passenger door. Selena, get out. Selena's face turned pale. But Alex didn't say anything. She could only comply silently. After she got out, I got into the passenger seat. Selena's expression changed drastically. What do you think you're doing? Alex also frowned at me. If you want to race someone, I'm coming with you. Alex's jawline tensed. During the standoff, Ryan somehow found his way here. Selena. I finally found you. I heard you went street racing with Alex. Listen to me, don't do it. Ryan grabbed Selena, who was outside the car. Only then did he notice Alex and me in the car. I raised an eyebrow, meeting Ryan's gaze. He was my college boyfriend, my former husband. But I was all too familiar with him fawning over another woman. He stammered, Tony, what are you doing here too? I found it amusing. Alex is my brother. Is it strange for me to be in his car? The four of us stared at each other. The air felt thick enough to cut. For 4 years in college, I chased after Ryan. But his heart always belonged to Selena. Selena looked down on Ryan's ordinary family background. She chased after my brother, hoping to marry into our wealthy family. I loved him, he loved her, she loved him. A dead-end cycle. It ended when Ryan and I got married. Just when I thought my devotion had finally paid off. Ryan sold out our family's trade secrets. Our family was on the brink of bankruptcy. Only then did I realize. Ryan married me just to get revenge on Alex, to get revenge on our family. He took everything that belonged to our family. And then gave it all to Selena. Making a grand public declaration of love to her. Alex confronted him, was accused of assault, and sentenced to 20 years. Later, I received news of my brother's suicide in prison. My thoughts returned to the present. This time, I had to keep Alex and myself far, far away from Ryan and Selena. I said to Ryan, "Weren't you looking for Selena? She's right here. Take her and go." Ryan's voice trembled slightly. He grabbed my hand. "Tony, I'll explain later. You get out of the car too, okay? Please." Alex clicked his tongue impatiently. I quickly pulled my hand away. And gave Ryan a hard shove. I slammed the car door shut. Alex looked at me. His eyes swirled with emotions I couldn't decipher. Finally, he gave a self-deprecating laugh. He leaned over and fastened my seatbelt. The car started. During the countdown whistle. It was noisy outside. Inside the car, it was quiet. Only the sound of our breathing could be heard. The pop-up comments were frantically trying to stop me. Is the female lead crazy? They're going to crash. Instead of talking him out of it, she gets in too. Don't you get it? Her brother has PTSD. He can't be persuaded. Might as well go crazy together. Alex's breathing was heavy, but his voice was soft. Why did you suddenly stop liking Ryan? Are you two putting on a show for me? He asked. Not intending to wait for my answer. He slammed on the gas. The car shot forward. I cried out. Alex instinctively eased off the gas. With me in the car. He was hesitant, not daring to drive too fast. We quickly fell behind. On the last half lap. He suddenly accelerated. Going around a sharp turn. The car's brakes failed. No matter how hard he pressed, it wouldn't slow down. I kept my eyes glued to the outside. Sure enough, a person appeared in my line of sight. I grabbed the steering wheel and yanked it hard in the opposite direction. The car was about to hit the outer guardrail. In the nick of time. Alex unbuckled his seatbelt. And threw himself over me, bracing me. The airbags deployed. I heard the sound of bones cracking. My head hit the window. Everything went hazy. I vaguely saw Alex's face. Blood was streaming from his forehead. He struggled to sit up, gently patting my cheek. Tony. Tony. Don't be afraid, your brother's here. Bro. Hot tears mixed with our blood streamed down, landing on the back of my hand. I really know I was wrong. Can you forgive me one more time, like when we were little? Just once. In the hospital. I opened my eyes. Ryan was sitting by my bed. Where's my brother? Ryan paused for a moment. He didn't answer my question. Tony, since when are you and Alex so close? That's none of your business. I asked you, where's my brother? Ryan still didn't answer. I threw off the covers and got out of bed. Ryan blocked me. Tony, the doctor said you need to rest. You need a head scan. Just then, a nurse came in. I stopped her and asked, my brother, Alex, where is he? He's more seriously injured, in the next room. Oh, He hasn't woken up yet. Alex lay on the hospital bed. His eyes were closed, his face pale. I walked over and took his hand. Bro, please wake up. I have so much to tell you. Suddenly, a warmth covered my hand. Alex squeezed my hand back. But he still didn't open his eyes. His lips moved slightly, murmuring something. I leaned closer to his ear and heard him say, Tony, don't be afraid, your brother's here. My heart clenched. The Alex before me overlapped with the image sketched out in that diary. Thin, lost, struggling. I pulled one hand free and opened the diary. September 8th, sunny. Tony told me she wants to pursue a guy named Ryan. I'm really not happy about it. September 9th, sunny. I looked into that Ryan guy. He's been getting help from Tony but is also ambiguously involved with someone named Selena. December 20th, overcast. I've warned Tony many times not to get close to Ryan. She's so angry she's not talking to me. December 24th, overcast. Christmas Eve, Tony went out on a date. I took some guys and ruined it. Tony said she hates me forever. December 30th, overcast. Tony smashed my computer. All my modeling work is gone. After my brother's crash, the diary entries stopped for a long time. The pages in between were all blank. New entries appeared again just before college graduation. April 30th, overcast. She said Ryan accepted her proposal. Mom called and told me not to ruin her wedding. Another long break. The handwriting looked very recent, as if written not long ago. July 30th, weather unknown. Tony wrote that the company bankruptcy matters are all settled. She said she regrets marrying Ryan. July 31st, weather unknown. Prison life is hard to bear. I can't take it much longer. August 10th. Next life, I don't want to be Tony's brother. Alex's eyelashes fluttered. His hand unconsciously tightened and loosened its grip on mine. I closed the diary and leaned down to touch his forehead. Brother. Alex. I called him softly. Alex slowly opened his eyes. His eyes were unfocused, staring straight ahead. As if looking at me, yet not seeing me. 2 lines of clear tears silently streamed down his face. Is this a dream? Or am I already dead? Tony, doesn't she hate me the most? I heard it with my own ears, I heard it. She stood in front of Ryan and said she hated me forever. I wiped the tears from his face with my fingers. How could I hate you, bro? I've always liked you the most, ever since we were little. Alex dazedly turned his head, raising a hand as if to touch the back of mine. A soft gasp of pain escaped his lips. He dropped his arm in pain. His eyes gradually cleared. A touch of disbelief colored his gaze. He struggled to sit up. I pressed him down. Don't move, you have a lot of broken bones. The voice by my ear suddenly turned cold. Are you done with your act? My fingertips recoiled, my heart tightening. Alex, what will it take for you to believe I'm being sincere? He looked out the window, refusing to look at me. The brakes suddenly failing. Did you arrange that? You actually think that of me? If that were true, why would I have gotten in that car with you? Alex lowered his gaze. The corner of his mouth curved into a weak, sarcastic smile. Because you wanted to see me risk my life to save you. Ridiculous, right? I opened my mouth, trying to speak. But failed. I didn't know what else to say. Only silent tears fell. In my memory, Alex always gave in to me, never argued back. Even after our relationship fractured. It was always me, one-sidedly spewing those heart-stabbing, harsh words. He never refuted them. Why now, when I'm not saying those things, does he not believe me? A pop-up comment floated by. Ever heard the story of the boy who cried wolf? Every time the female lead looks for her brother, it's bad news. Cry wolf too many times, and no one believes you. But look at his expression. He looks even more miserable than his sister. Through tear-filled eyes, I couldn't see Alex's expression clearly. I only saw him prop himself up and pull out a few tissues. He held them out to me. Go back to your room. Get some rest. I didn't reach for the tissues. Tears dripped onto Alex's wrist. He sighed lightly, as if helpless. He laboriously lifted his hand, holding the tissue, and gently dabbed the corner of my eye. Don't cry. I told you when we were little, crying too much will make you go blind. Hearing the word little, I cried even harder. I sobbed, asking him, Bro, can we go back to when we were little? Alex lowered his head, silent. I asked him again, Bro, can you hug me again like you did when we were little? Alex was silent for a long moment. Finally, he slowly opened his arms. I threw myself into his embrace. My tears wet the back of his neck. My lips brushed his earlobe. Murmuring apologies. Bro. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I felt a dampness on the back of my neck too. Alex was crying. Pop-up comments floated around our embrace. Her brother has suffered too much pain and injustice. A few words can't make up for it. One of them has to be more proactive, or they'll just be two miserable souls. So when we separated, I lightly brushed a kiss along his jawline. Fleeting, almost imperceptible. Alex covered the spot I had kissed. He froze completely. His gaze towards me was filled with shock. And many other emotions I couldn't understand. Voices and footsteps came from the doorway. Ryan suddenly burst into the room. Pointing at Alex and me, he stammered. Am I seeing things? What are you two doing? I looked at him coldly. You're not seeing things. I kissed my brother. Ryan instantly broke down. Tony. I'm your boyfriend. Ryan, I'm officially telling you now. We're broken up. Broken up? Tony, you chase me when you want, dump me when you want. What do you take me for? I was blind before. Now I can see. You. Ryan, not giving up, grabbed my hand, pestering me with questions. Alex yelled, let go of my sister. Ryan turned his face, his expression vicious. I always thought the way you looked at her wasn't normal. Lusting after your own sister, have you no shame? Ryan lunged towards Alex on the bed, fist raised. I stood in front of Alex's bed and slapped Ryan hard across the face. Get out of this room right now. I can go, Ryan said, clutching his cheek and spitting, but you're coming with me. He grabbed my wrist and started dragging me out of the room. Alex was frantic. He recklessly fell off the bed. And then he saw, as Ryan and I struggled, the leather-bound diary fall out of my coat pocket. The diary that belonged to the former Alex. His expression changed slightly. He looked up at me, stunned. The commotion was too loud. It eventually attracted a nurse. Ryan was kicked out. Only Alex and I were left in the room. Alex's gaze was incredibly heavy as he asked, when did you find this diary? I didn't want to explain too much. I didn't want Alex to know about his other life. I just wanted him to be okay now. I saw it not long ago. He lowered his head with a self-deprecating laugh, as if talking to himself. So, you know everything. Yes. Your diary says you like me. Alex paused. Loving your own sister makes you a monster. The harshness in his tone startled me. Alex, back then. What state of mind were you in? When you wrote that sentence in your diary? But we're not blood related. What does it matter? Alex didn't answer me. He changed the subject, asking. Tony, did you come up with this plan to mess with me just because you found this diary? No. The rest of the words caught in my throat. I stood there for a long time. I blinked. My eyes were swollen and dry. No more tears would come. In the old days, I had already cried all my tears. Until I heard the news of my brother's death. Only then did I realize I could still cry. Alex's voice was cool, yet a little hoarse. Can't keep up the act anymore? Bro. I reached out, wanting to touch him. But my fingertips recoiled the moment they brushed against him. Alex said, "Tony, if you think you can use what's in this diary to play games with me, you're mistaken." He lowered his head, murmuring as if to himself. "I stopped liking you a long time ago. I'm not that pathetic, to like someone who's hurt me time and time again." Alex looked up helplessly, his eyes looking like they might shatter. "You should go. I want to be alone for a while." I got up. A stream of pop-up comments followed me. "Ugh, the main characters are about to break, and so am I. Her brother thinks that's his college diary. He doesn't know his future entries already gave him away. Believe it or not, his future dreams will be full of that kiss on the neck." My steps faltered. Before closing the door, I asked Alex, "Your birthday is in half a month. Can I come celebrate with you that day?" I hadn't celebrated Alex's birthday with him for a long time. Ever since I met Ryan in my past life, until now. Alex's figure froze. With his back to the light, I couldn't see his expression. I only saw his vague outline, hidden in the shadows. He nodded and said, "Okay." Alex was hurt worse than I was. But he did rehab every day and recovered quickly. The pop-up comments said he was eager to leave the hospital because this was the birthday he'd looked forward to most in his life. On the day of Alex's birthday party, I dressed up specially. I put on nice makeup, a cocktail dress, and high heels. After the party started, I walked towards him holding a large bouquet of roses. "Brother, happy birthday." Alex took the flowers but didn't even acknowledge me. The people around watched with a mix of curiosity and amusement. Back then, everyone knew my brother and I didn't get along. When he passed a trash can, I thought he'd toss the flowers in without hesitation. But he didn't. He kept holding that bouquet tightly. No matter what birthday gifts other well-wishers gave him. He never put down those flowers. After being reborn, I knew many of Alex's friends were fair-weather types. When our family went bankrupt back then, they all cut ties. I couldn't be bothered to socialize with them. I stood alone on the balcony, enjoying the breeze. Behind me, a figure lurked in the shadows. The moment I turned, my expression turned cold. I looked warily at Ryan. "How did you get in?" "Tony, I just saw you give Alex flowers." "What exactly is going on between you two?" "We broke up." "You have no right to ask." "Please, let's not break up. If it's because I went to the racetrack to find Selena that day, I can explain." I held up a hand to stop him. "I don't want to hear it." "Never mind the racetrack, I knew all about the disgusting things you two did later." I ran from the balcony back to the banquet hall. Ryan kept pestering me, following me back to the main hall. We ran right into Alex and his friends. Someone, looking for trouble, said, "Tony, isn't this your boyfriend?" "Ryan, right?" Alex's hands suddenly clenched, knuckles white, fists by his sides. "No," I said flatly. "I don't know him." "Oh dear, looks like someone's made Miss Tony angry. How about you drink this round as an apology?" "Tony. Say something." Ryan's voice cracked with agitation as he gripped my hand tightly. Red marks instantly appeared on my wrist. Alex yanked Ryan's hand away and pulled me behind him. "Whoever drinks this guy under the table today, I'll give them that shop across the street." With that one sentence, a crowd surrounded Ryan. A pop-up comment flashed. "Finally, this part. Teach that scumbag a lesson. Her brother's so protective. So cool." Alex led me aside. He looked down, checking my wrist. I looked towards the crowd. Alex looked up, frowning. If you're worried he'll drink himself to death, I'll tell them to stop now. I grabbed Alex and shook my head. He won't die from drinking. Otherwise, how could the future Ryan often come home dead drunk? With suggestive, provocative red marks on his neck. Mumbling about how after our family went bankrupt, he had endless messes to clean up. As if he wasn't the main culprit behind our family's bankruptcy. The birthday party was nearing its end. Ryan's nerves were eventually numbed by alcohol. He was slumped crookedly on the booth sofa. Alex went to see off the guests. I walked over to Ryan and leaned down to look at him. Stop bothering me. Next time, it won't be this simple. Got it? Tony, did you ever really like me? He slurred the words, his tongue heavy. I gave a cool smile. Never. The past is the past, now is now. Now, I've never liked you. Ryan's lips twisted into a crazed smile. He suddenly grabbed my arm, yanking me down hard. The next second, he grabbed my head and bit down hard on my lips. A pungent smell of alcohol assaulted my nostrils, instantly overwhelming me. And this scene was witnessed by Alex, who had just returned from seeing off his guests. Alex yanked me away and smashed a glass bottle from the table. He lunged at the drunken Ryan's head with the broken bottle. I grabbed his hand. Bro. Don't. Alex's eyes were bloodshot as he looked at me, pained and confused. You've actually been putting on an act with him for me all along, haven't you? I froze. I didn't know what to say. I wasn't afraid of you hurting Ryan. I was just afraid that you'd go to prison again for assault. I absolutely cannot let you go to prison again. Alex, how can I tell you? The person I'm worried about is you. Alex left me and walked away. I leaned against the wall, holding my head in despair. I don't know how much time passed. A pop-up comment suddenly flashed. This is all a trap by that scumbag and bitch, designed to drive a wedge between the siblings and then swallow up the family. The scumbag originally wanted to drug the female lead too, but she ran to the main hall, so he didn't succeed. But her brother is drowning his sorrows now and is about to be drugged by Selena. Go save him quickly. I walked over to the unconscious Ryan, picked up a glass from the table, and threw the drink in his face. Where's my brother? If anything happens to him, I'll make you and Selena pay with your lives. In a private room at the bar. Alex was curled up in a corner. His face was flushed, his breathing increasingly heavy. He knew he'd fallen into a trap. Ryan had set it up for him to see him with me. Selena had drugged his drink. He was such an idiot. Such an idiot. How could he not believe his own sister? Selena crouched in front of him and started taking off her clothes, piece by piece. Alex roared hysterically, "Get out. Alex, I'm the only one who truly loves you." Selena, tears streaming down her face, reached for Alex's clothes. Alex shoved her away. He smashed a glass bottle on the table. Picked up a shard. And without hesitation, slashed it hard across his forearm. Instantly, blood gushed out. Alex let out several pained grunts. Mumbling his sister's name. Tony. Tony. Selena screamed uncontrollably. Why? Why, no matter what I do, is your heart only filled with that sister who always opposes you? Alex's face was pale with pain, but his mind cleared. Even to lure me here, you used her name, didn't you? Selena gave a chilling smile. Guess if she's with Ryan right now? Alex's face changed drastically. He struggled to get up, wanting to leave the room. Blood dripped onto the floor. Pop-up comments appeared one after another. Oh my God, is the male lead actually going to bleed to death? I was mad at the male lead earlier for suspecting the female lead and Ryan, but seeing him like this, I feel a bit sorry for him. This is it, this is the room. Save her brother quickly. When I burst through the door. The private room was covered in blood, a shocking sight. Alex's white shirt was stained bright red with blood. Hearing my voice. The bottle shard in his hand fell to the floor. Tony. Tony. Before I opened the door, I heard him calling my name repeatedly. I crouched down and supported Alex. Brother, I'm here. I'm here. The bloodshot look in Alex's eyes gradually softened. Tony, are you okay? He looked half dead. Yet he was still worried about me. Bro, I'm here, I'm fine. I reached out to hug him. But Alex pushed me away, resisting my embrace. Don't touch me. Bro. It's me, Tony. Don't come closer. Just let me say your name. Alex's tone was almost pleading. Blood was still pouring from the wound. Bro. Can I take you to the hospital? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Don't worry about me. I didn't know why Alex was like this. Even if something had really happened between him and Selena, it would have been because of the drug. I wouldn't blame him. A pop-up comment flashed. Female lead, don't misunderstand. Nothing happened between her brother and Selena. He's mad at himself for not believing you. He's blaming himself. This broken puppy is really punishing himself hard, sob sob. I looked at the dense network of cuts on Alex's forearm. Tears welled up in my eyes. Everything felt like it was back to the day I received news of my brother's suicide in prison. Bro. You told me not to worry about you. Are you still going to look after me in the future? If you're worried about me being alone, will you come to the hospital with me? In the end, I took Alex to the hospital. After a whole night of turmoil, his condition and emotions finally stabilized. The nurse bandaged Alex. His forearm was wrapped in a thick layer of gauze. But even so, beads of blood still seeped through. I dug my nails into my palm, holding back tears, and ran out of the room. While I was on a call, the nurse rushed out calling for me. The patient is a bit agitated. He's been looking for you. I hung up, wiped my tears, and went into the room. Alex looked at me, his eyes bloodshot. The two of us just looked at each other from a distance, without speaking. After a long while, Alex spoke. I'm fine now. You can go back. The nurse said you were looking for me. No, I just asked her if you had left. Alex, don't you have anything else to say to me? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You know that's not what I want to hear. I rushed over and kissed Alex's lips. A salty, bitter taste spread across my lips. I didn't know if it was my tears or Alex's. Slowly trickling down into the corners of our mouths. He pushed me away, turned his head, and said, Tony, I'm sorry. I had thought Alex's birthday party would be a turning point in our relationship. But I didn't expect that after that day. Everything between Alex and me retreated to the boundaries of a normal brother-sister relationship. I no longer spent all day and night with him. I just visited him with classmates after class when I had time. I even thought, maybe it was because I had done such hurtful things to him in the past, that the current me simply didn't deserve to be with him. A pop-up comment flashed. The male lead also feels he doesn't deserve to love her because he didn't trust her. Two poor little miserable souls, both thinking they don't deserve each other. It's all because that scumbag and bitch interfered. The main characters were so close to confessing their feelings to each other. The pop-up comments were cursing Selena and Ryan. Ryan suddenly appeared in the hospital parking lot. He was wearing a dark coat, leaning against a lamppost, his appearance gloomy. He looked like he had aged 10 years overnight. Tony, I finally found you. Let's talk. What do you want with me? Shouldn't you be looking for Selena? I just saw her at the dealership with another guy. Because Alex wasn't answering his phone. The dealership called me. I went to pick up the repaired car today. And happened to see Selena with some rich kid. Ryan suddenly grabbed the corner of my coat, murmuring softly. Tony, I came looking for you. Selena and I are over. You're my one true love. Just that one sentence. A sense of foreboding suddenly rose. A pop-up comment flashed. Damn. The scumbag got reborn too? Ryan took out a ring box from his pocket. Inside were 2 rings. Tony, I brought our wedding rings. From beginning to end, you're the only one I've ever loved. Come back with me, okay? I won't let you down again. He put on the man's ring. Then grabbed my hand. Wanting to slip the woman's ring onto my ring finger. I pried his fingers off one by one, stepped back a few paces, and pulled my coat free. Ryan, I have nothing to do with you now, and I'm not going back with you. Ryan's expression changed instantly. His hands clenched into fists, knuckles cracking. Is it because of Alex? Have you really fallen in love with him? Yes. I love him, and I want to live this life again with him. Ryan suddenly flew into a rage. Don't you forget how you used to treat him. You were the one who said you wanted to ruin him, to kick him out of the family. That's why I tampered with the car. Ryan, what nonsense are you spouting? Before I could finish, I saw a contemptuous smile play on Ryan's lips. I turned my head. Alex was standing 7 or 8 steps behind me, looking at me in disbelief. Bro. My voice trembled. No. It's not like that. Don't listen to his nonsense. Alex didn't answer, stumbling into the crowd. I was about to chase after him. But Ryan grabbed me. Ryan, let go of me. Ryan ignored my struggles and shoved me into a car. He looked down, smiling sinisterly. See? He never believed you. What's the point of you staying here? Even so, I'm not going back with you. Ryan instantly looked up again, his expression crazed as he stared at me. That's not up to you. Come back with me. If we go back, we'll definitely get back together. The car doors suddenly locked. Ryan slammed on the gas, and the car seemed to take off. Ryan. Are you crazy? Stop the car. Let me out. I yanked hard at the door lock. But the central lock engaged by the driver couldn't be opened. Ryan kept overtaking cars and changing lanes. Angry honks sounded from behind us. Finally, he drove to the edge of a cliff. The sound of waves crashing against rocks was close. In just a few seconds, the car would fall into the sea. My heart was practically pounding out of my throat. Ryan laughed almost maniacally. He freed one hand and forcibly took mine. Tony, we can go back together soon. Dream on. I'm not going back with you. I struggled wildly to free my hand. My freshly done birthday manicure broke, scratching bloody marks on the back of Ryan's hand. I leaned over and fought Ryan for control of the steering wheel. He gripped the wheel tightly, unmoving. I dug my nails hard into his neck. As he loosened his grip on the wheel in pain, I violently twisted the steering wheel. The car slammed straight into a large rock beside us. My head hit the window, and I blacked out. I had a dream. In the dream, I felt suffocated, as if I were sinking to the bottom of the sea. I watched helplessly as Alex in prison closed his diary and quietly left this world. I cried out his name, but he couldn't hear anything. The scene changed. Alex's lost figure disappeared into a crowd, vanishing from sight. Brother. Brother. I barreled through, following him. Alex was gone. I stood in an empty courtyard before me. A little boy took a little girl's hand and said to her, "From now on, this is your home. I'm your brother, and I'll protect you for the rest of your life. Protect me for life. Brother, you can't go back on your word." Tony. Tony. Hearing a familiar voice, I slowly opened my heavy eyelids. Bro. You're finally here. I knew you'd believe me. Alex was outside, banging on the car window. Frantic. He smashed the window directly with his elbow. Reaching in from outside, he unlocked the central lock from the driver's side. The wound on his forearm hadn't scabbed over yet, and was reopened by sharp glass shards. Blood flowed into the car. Bro. It must hurt a lot. Ryan suddenly woke up. He grabbed Alex's arm, which was reaching through the window, and started struggling. Don't even think about stopping us from going back. She's my wife. If you dare spout any more nonsense, I'll make sure you don't even know how you died. Alex finally got the car door open. He kicked Ryan a few times, then ran to the passenger side, and carefully pulled me out, as I was pinned by the seat. Ryan struggled to open his blood-smeared eyes. He murmured weakly in our direction. Go back. Tony, let's go back together. Alex carried me out of the car. I didn't look back. Ryan, you can't go back. You have to stay here and face the consequences of the law. Alex held me. I smelled his familiar scent, and gradually calmed down, falling into a deep sleep. When I woke up again, I was in the hospital. The warmth from my palm spread throughout my body. Alex was holding my hand, slumped over the head of the bed. A nurse came in to shoo him away. Hey, your arm wound was just bandaged. You can't put pressure on it like that. Since you're a patient, can't you go back to your own room to rest? Although she said that, the nurse didn't actually make him leave. We'd been here so many times, they knew our faces. I secretly glanced at Alex. Our eyes met. He was secretly looking at me too. I was so afraid he would look away. But he didn't. Brother. Tony. We both spoke at the same time. You go first. We spoke at the same time again. Then we both fell silent. A pop-up comment flashed. The sister already made the first move before. You can't make her do it again this time. Weren't you planning to confess at the last birthday party? What are you waiting for? Me? Confess at the birthday party? Tony, I don't just want to be your brother. I want to stay by your side for the rest of my life. I've liked you for a very, very long time. Unexpectedly. Alex confessed. I blinked, staring at him blankly. The pop-up comments were scrolling by like crazy. I couldn't help but look at the pop-up comments again. Alex stood up. He cupped my face in his hands. Stop looking at the comments. Look at me. Then I saw Alex's face, magnified before my eyes, blocking all the pop-up comments. Your answer. You can see the pop-up comments? You answer me first. I do. A persistent pop-up comment squeezed in between our faces, which were only centimeters apart. Silly girl, he's confessing his love, not proposing. Why are you saying I do? Alex shot a playfully annoyed glance at that comment. He waved his hand. The comment dispersed. Then he kissed me. My eyes widened. His lips were so soft. His eyelashes were so long. His eyes were so bright. He freed one hand and gently covered my eyes. And so, in my world, everything was overwhelmingly filled with his scent. After Alex lifted his hand, his diary fell onto the bedsheet. The open page read, "Next life, I don't want to be Tony's brother." Then all the pop-up comments in the air seemed to be drawn back into the diary by some mysterious force. The last pop-up comment was, "No need to wait for the next life. Be happy in this one." Alex picked up the diary. His long fingers gently caressed the leather cover. Those traces of time, he held them preciously in his hands. Thank you for being willing to come back and find me. Thank you for living this life again with me. The future me truly did love you more each day than the day before. I like you, from the past to the present, from the present to the future. Bonus chapter. The fact that Alex could see the pop-up comments. He accidentally discovered it after his second hospitalization, when he opened the diary. I asked him. If that's the case, when you saw me and Ryan in the parking lot, why did you turn and run? I had just seen it then. I couldn't believe you two were married. I couldn't believe even more that I had actually let you marry him. I clearly wrote in my diary that I wouldn't let you leave me. Alex raised a hand to cover his face. His other hand slapped his own head in frustration. I stopped his hand. If I had known it would be like this, I would have died before letting you marry him. Since it's prison either way, I might as well have taken him down with me. Alex. I sharply cut him off. There was actually a certain decisiveness about Alex. But towards me, he could never seem to be ruthless. After being discharged, I insisted on staying at Alex's off-campus apartment. Ever since I was little, I liked walking barefoot on the floor. He still chased after me to put on my slippers, just like when we were little. Tony. Get over here and put your shoes on properly. I made a face at him, just like when I was little. Alex got annoyed. I had just said he couldn't be ruthless with me. He really wasn't as patient as before. He grabbed my wrist and gently pulled. I fell back onto the soft sofa behind me. To prevent me from escaping. One hand held my delicate shoulders. The other hand put my slippers on for me. I playfully kicked off the slippers again. Alex leaned over me. His large hand gripped my ankle. If you don't wear your shoes properly again, I'll make you stay in bed, unable to get up. I don't know what came to mind. My face instantly turned beet red. Alex was clearly pleased with my expression. He rested his head against me, squinting his eyes, like a lazy cat. I picked up the slippers, surrendering. I'll wear them now. But Alex tossed the slippers aside. He scooped me up from the sofa into his arms. Too late. No need to wear them. I won't give you a chance to let your feet touch the ground. I had a dream. The dream was both sweet and bittersweet. Alex beside me murmured. I won't let you leave me. I shook him awake and told him about my dream. Alex pondered for a moment. I just had a dream too. I dreamed about things that happened in another world. He looked at me, his eyes brewing with turbulent emotions. I dreamed we were always brother and sister. I dreamed you married someone else. I laughed out loud. But I dreamed we were together. Then I didn't dare to laugh anymore. Because Alex was staring at me gravely. I cupped his face, leaned in, and placed a very light kiss on his lips. We've always been together, don't worry, don't worry. By the way, how old were you when you started liking me? Were you an adult yet? Alex hugged me tightly. I've liked you for a very, very long time. So long that the first time I saw you, that impression was already in my mind. I like you.